Everybody in Kenya is wondering what will happen next. People are very worried, okay? They're wondering what is going to happen to this our Kenya next, yeah? Now, those who take in this channel on a regular basis already have a very good idea of what's going to unfold. We already have the analysis I've done, and we also have what we have heard from prophecies, you know, serious men and women of God. We even have a scripture, yeah? I shall overturn, yeah? And it shall be no more until the person who, until the person whose right it is comes, yeah? Everybody knows that on this channel. But now we have something else to confirm what we have been saying in this channel. And actually it's an article, okay? An article by a very serious political commentator, yeah? Have you heard of the name Wachira Maina? Okay? Wachira Maina is actually a constitutional lawyer, well known. But, and in fact, in Club 1999, somebody linked to an interview he had in The Elephant. You remember The Elephant, the site I introduced you guys, yeah? Anyway, Wachira Maina has written a very interesting article in The East African, okay? Which lays down exactly where we are politically and what we should expect next. And I believe it's an excellent idea for us to go through this article here in our channel, so that we are very clear what is happening. Nothing will take us by surprise, okay? He offers various scenarios, but really the writing is on the wall, yeah? So let's just get on to it right away. This is, of course, in the latest issue of the East African, yeah? It's a weekly newspaper by the Nation Group, yes? I know most of you don't read it, because sometimes it tends to be very intellectual, yeah? A lot of Kenyans like simple things, but I know also a lot of you read it, okay? Anyway, let's get into it right away. In 1966, President Jomo Kenyatta amended the Constitution to force 29 members of the National Assembly and the Senate who had defected from KANU, the ruling party, to Jaramogi Oginga Odinga's Kenya People's Union into a series of by-elections that came to be called the Little General Election. Of course, KANU won a majority of the vacant seats, and though KPU won the popular vote, Jomo Kenyatta was able to leverage the results to further amend the Constitution and eventually disseminate the opposition. Yeah, akamaliza opposition kabisa, yeah. Now 50 years later, his son President Uhuru Kenyatta, lacking the legal means to force his opposition into a similar debacle, rushed headlong into an election boycotted by his principal opponent Raila Odinga, and unwittingly converted what should have been a coronation into a referendum on his government. You know, I always keep on telling you guys that this is why politics is so interesting and exciting, okay? Because it's unpredictable, yeah? You do something, you expect a certain result, but then it turns out to be a completely different result. And this is particularly a very good example, yeah? Because really, what Jubilee expected was an election to completely finish Raila Odinga's political career, yeah? Because what would have happened, the election would have gone on as usual, blah, 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 people are happy, yes, president has been elected, wait for swearing in and so on. But that's not what has happened. Instead, it has turned out to be a referendum. How many people turned up to vote? How many people heeded the call of Jubilee government to turn up and vote? Yes, even after their very heavy campaigns countrywide. Yeah, and how many people boycotted? Yeah, it actually became a referendum on whether people should go for Uhuru or Raila. And we all know what the results were. Let's continue reading. The results, already controversial, because the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IBC, has results from areas that never voted, will almost certainly damage and weaken Uhuru's political authority beyond repair. This was supposed to be the election that buried Odinga's political career, like the Little General Election buried his father's. Instead, it will realize none of Uhuru's hopes and bring about all the consequences that a more reflective leader would have foreseen. First, it will bolster Odinga's political legitimacy as it retrospectively undermines Uhuru's earlier claim that he had overwhelmingly won the election of August 8th. Yeah? Now, let's put that in English. Yeah, anyway, you know, some people like me love simplicity, yeah? So, and I'm sure most of you taking this channel love simplicity. I'm not abusing intelligence, but you know, when things are simple, it's easier, yeah? What it's basically saying is that what this thing has done, this election of 26th, yeah, imeongeza Odinga nguvu. It has bolstered his political legitimacy, yeah, and it has also completely undermined, yeah, President Uhuru's earlier claim that he is very popular and that he overwhelmingly won the August 8th election. Yeah, that's very clear. We've been saying that on this channel. Okay, let's continue. Secondly, it will strengthen Deputy President William Ruto as Kenyatta becomes even more reliant on him. Wow, that's an interesting one. Third, a weakened Uhuru must become more authoritarian, and yet without the reservoirs of legitimacy that come from an electoral mandate, you will find the population increasingly resistant. The upshot will be that what was initially a political crisis will metastasize, becoming a constitutional crisis that must undermine the very stability that the business community craved when they argued for an early election. Hey, hii kizungu ngumu, eh? Let's break that down. Yeah, it's just saying that it will weaken Uhuru's presidency. It will weaken his authority. Yeah, and it will force him to be authoritarian. You know, a rule na nguvu with an iron hand. Yeah, because you know when your rule is weakened in this politics, yeah, when your authority is weakened, you show people who you are. Yeah, that's normal. Yeah, so clampdowns here and there, arresting bloggers on social media, blah blah blah. You know, no mambo demonstrations hakuna. Yeah, or if you turn up for demonstration, you know what happens, etc., etc. But of course, people will become more resistant. Yeah, as he does more of this, the population is bound to become more resistant. And what will happen, what this writer predicts, is that this thing will change from a political crisis into a very serious constitutional crisis, yeah, that will undermine the stability that even the business people are looking for when they are rushing Uhuru. Yeah, let's have this 26th election, tumalize maneno turudi kazini. Yeah, that's what he's saying. Central to Kenyatta's problems is his shrunken electoral mandate. The final turnout figures have not been announced. The chair of the IEBC, Wafula Chebukati, had initially announced a voter turnout of 48%. No sooner had he done that, he tried to walk that number back, saying it was a best estimate, as results from monitors in the field showed that this was patently false. Okay? On the most optimistic outlook, the real number will probably be nearer or lower than 40%. If that turns out to be the case, the implications are devastating. How so? In the first election on August 8th, 5 out of every 6 registered voters turned out to vote. A 40% or lower turnout means that less than 3 out of 6 voters have come out to vote barely 2 months later. This raises 6 problems. 1. The vote is essentially a Kikuyu Kalenjin vote, a hugely unsettling political fact in a country with 44 ethnic groups. 2. Voter turnout among the Kikuyus and the Kalenjin did not come anywhere near what it was in August. Though electoral studies show that such a turnout is normal in electoral reruns, Kenyatta's opponents will seize on this as proof of, at best, growing fatigue and at worst, dwindling support for Kenyatta in his own backyard. 3. Odinga will spin the low turnout as he's doing, evidence, he will say, of a country responding to his call to boycott the election. 4. It will leave Kenya even more divided than it was before. Kenyatta has been as divisive a figure as his main opponent Odinga. This election has sharpened those divisions, and Kenyatta's headstrong, some would say hubristic, refusal to even consider putting off the vote to increase cross-party trust and improve the environment will have curdled political sentiment, perhaps irretrievably. 5. The result will re-energize Odinga, and thus pumped up, he will be more intransigent to any overtures from Kenyatta. 6. The most unsettling, from an ethnic voting point, the result in central Kenya exposes Kenyatta's tenuous hold on the Kikuyu. The turnout supports what many always feared. Kenyatta's base is anti-Raila rather than pro-Uhuru. Without Odinga in the running, they were not motivated to vote. Yeah? Ruto, Kenyatta's presumptive heir, will note this with alarm. Can Kenyatta really deliver the Kikuyu vote to him in 2022? Now, in this very serious political corner Uhuru Kenyatta is in, what are his options? Okay, now that's what we're going to deal with in the next part of this recording. I hope what we've gone through so far is interesting. It brings a lot of clarity to what we're facing. Okay, so just make sure you catch part 2. You know the usual drill. Watch out for the link on your top left hand corner. Click on it, and within no time you'll be on part 2 of this recording. I mean, this is really fascinating. Don't miss part 2 because it just lays bare the only options of what's going to happen next. Okay, see you there in a bit.